Well, for media brands, the reality is your content really helps define you and define your brand. And it still is a world where your content matters.
Joining me at the Speaker's Corner, powered by the New York Stock Exchange at the Possible Conference, I'm here with Howard Homonoff. He is a Forbes writer on media, entertainment, and advertising, and he's also managing director at Homonoff Media Group. Howard, fantastic to have you here.
Really
Thanks
happy to be here. Great to see you.
So, Howard, tell me, what excites you most about Possible this year?
You know, I've spent my whole career, it feels like, in places where things were changing. From, it's Capitol Hill or, inside the media business or as an outside advisor, whatever it may be, or writing about it at Forbes. And I think what's most exciting about things like this and about Possible, and there's a great energy here. And I think it is very much around an industry in the throes of change in so many areas. And I think sort of understanding that, and from my perspective, trying to synthesize it and then tell the story of that to people is really exciting.
So you mentioned your career. It spans from Capitol Hill to cable to consulting. How has that shaped your view of media today?
I think I have seen industries in massive changes in a number of ways over the years, from broadcasting being the king of the hill, kind of alone on the mountaintop, to battling cable and completely changing that ecosystem, to the advent of the internet and upsetting both of those worlds, to the dramatic changes in tech, of course, and consumer behavior. And I think what's really interesting is to see not that all change is different. Just like all sad families, I guess, in Tolstoy are different, but all families are different. All change is different, but it's all very complicated ecosystems. And you see change, the real change demands changes in technology, changes in corporate behavior, understanding of marketers and advertisers and brands and an entire world, including regulators, kind of the world that I grew up in, that have to sort of adapt to these changes for it to take hold. So it's really, I think, fascinating for me to have seen it from a number of perspectives.
Now, Howard, there's so much disruption in content delivery. What do you see as the biggest shift happening right now?
For a while, as streaming began, the view was, hey, now we've got, subscription services available and we don't need advertising. People are just going to pay the freight for the new streaming world. And we're now at a point where there's almost no one left that has not brought advertising into that ecosystem. So we now have, Netflix, November 2023 began its advertising business. January 2024 came Amazon and its introduction in Prime in advertising. Disney Plus, Max, Peacock began effectively, from among the major media companies and having advertising from the beginning. And then you've got the fast channels, obviously, that are completely dedicated to advertiser-supported monetization. So I think what's interesting is just how, I don't know if what's new, what's old is new again exactly, but how important advertising now is to the entire ecosystem in streaming. So the platform, the time spent has changed dramatically, of course, but the searching for the business model or set of business models to work will very clearly include advertising as a key component.
So you talk about streaming. How do you see cable and broadcast evolving as streaming takes over?
Well, the first thing I'd say is they have to evolve, that they can't continue business as usual. I think there is a place for those platforms in the ecosystem. Many people depend on free TV as you get in broadcasting. And in fact, I think what and has really been the centerpiece of broadcasting in recent years is live sports, which I think is, and we've got contracts that run out for many years, whether it's the Olympics or the NFL or the brand new NBA deal, which has an 11-year run. So I think that live sports is going to be, is and will remain the centerpiece, certainly for broadcasting and less so for cable. But I think where those platforms need to evolve is figuring out their strategy around the entertainment piece. Where do they need maybe different, who do they need to be working with? Do they need to be innovating in conjunction with the creator economy? Is there something outside of the traditional kind of way of doing things that might energize and bring some different audiences to a broadcast and cable world?
Now, you've written about a slowdown in media M&A. What companies or what should companies be focusing on instead?
I think what we're seeing and what companies, we're in a period of turmoil, and however you want to define it, in the financial markets and tariffs, trade, etc., political alliances, etc. So it's a time of great uncertainty. So in the absence of an easy or quick deal, I think what we are seeing and will see more of and should see more of is companies, you can call it sticking to your knitting or focusing on blocking and tackling. But that is, what do I have to do from a perspective of my organization, my technology, my business processes to do what I do more efficiently, more effectively. And that's an internal rather than an external focus. But I think that's where you have to be now in the absence of sort of the deal that solves all of your problems.
Yeah. All right. And finally, Howard, what marketing strategies are helping media brands stand out right now?
Well, for media brands, the reality is your content really helps define you and define your brand. And it still is a world where your content matters. And we can see the way mindsets change when there is, I don't know anybody that wasn't talking about White Lotus for, a period of weeks, good or bad, not necessarily, right? It was mixed, but they were talking about White Lotus. And I think that is not, and where could you watch White Lotus? On Max. It was on HBO, but for most people, frankly, they were streaming it on Max. And there are, the Minecraft movie has again taken gaming and put it at the centerpiece of sort of the whole media world, not just for the company that produced the movie. So I think that there are a lot of complexities around delivery platforms, monetization, technology, and all that, but delivering terrific kind of game-changing content there is no marketing strategy better than delivering that to consumers.
All right. Well, Howard, wonderful to talk with you. Thank you for joining me at the Speaker's Corner.
Thank you. Really enjoyed it.